try to be a man of my word when I can. I promised past picks on the previous end of that break. Well, here they are. David Burrows, you got to answer for yourself, starting with PayPal.
Okay. Financial technology is a group that we have been invested in for 3-4 years now. We've talked about Visa as a pick. We talked about PayPal as a pick. We talked about Fiserv as a pick along the way. This group continues to do well because financial services companies have to continue to spend money. Payments technology is really, really attractive because the volumes are growing really dramatically. We're more focused today in Visa than we are in PayPal, but great company, and it's a great space. You know, even Square looks interesting in this space.
I was going to ask you about that because there is so much, at least conversation anyway. I don't know if there's any actual, basis for all of the hype, but I mean, there's so many like TransferWise is trying to eat PayPal's lunch. I could name a dozen other startups, but what's the point? Is this a sector that might get disrupted?
Anytime you have a sector that has the kind of secular growth, which is what we look for, multi-year growth, is going to attract competition, which is why we're a little more focused today on Visa, because really Visa is at the center of all of it, right? I mean, they are the middleware for all of these technologies. But I think that there's money to be made in a number of these different companies.
Well, you made a decent amount of money in Republic Services. Looks like a 35% return.
So if you think that the economy is getting better, waste is a great business to be in. I mean, realistically, it's dependent on economic activity.
Right.
So we've been an investor in Republic. We're currently a fairly large investor in Waste Connections, WCN.
I was gonna ask
both stocks have done remarkably well. It's an industry that has consolidated down to a smaller number of players, which means that there's some profit margin to be had. So if you think the economy is going to continue to improve, this is a sector that can continue to do well.
That does make sense. More retail sales, people buy more things.
More industrial activity.
Generate more crap. That always seems to be the process of a growing economy and the sign of strength in humanity, just like being able to pull some valuable metals out of the ground. FrancoNevada doing a pretty good job of that.
Yeah, so I have to be a little bit careful here because we are not huge bulls on precious metals. There was a very good trade in precious metals in 2016, and it kind of ran out of gas. FrancoNevada is the chicken way to invest in gold because they're getting royalties, right, from properties. What's interesting about it is if the companies that are operating the properties they've financed go bankrupt, it doesn't matter because they remain attached to the property itself, not to the company that was operating it, and somebody else will come along and operate it. So it's a really great business.
Income.
Right, it's just a great business model because they're just reaping revenue as companies produce. It doesn't matter whether companies are making money or not, they get a royalty. So it's a good way to invest in the group, and the stock has been remarkable relative to the sector. It's one we continue to own.
Would you double down on a stock like that? I mean, it sounds almost like a stock like that can do no wrong, right?
Well, it certainly can do wrong. I mean, the sector goes out of favor. They say 80% of return is get to the asset classes being revalued and then find themes within that asset class that are benefiting. If you're in the wrong neighborhood, it doesn't matter how good the company is. But Franco's a really great company. And so if we have a position that's working, even if the sector is not participating, we'll stay in it as long as it works. And then we use our stop losses, and they'll take us out if things roll over.
Well, I guess that's enough of looking over history. We're going to look now to the future, specifically about 2 minutes away when we're going to get back to your questions. But you're going to have to pick up the phone and dial if you want to ask one. It's 1-855-326-6266 is how you're going to get in touch with us. Won't cost you a dime, folks, and you might learn something in the meantime. Please stick around.